That's why it's going to be a good test. Because here's the fun thing, Monty. Isn't this the dream? You love fucking styles make fights, right? So you've got the fucking team with the draft, the flexes, the whole fucking angle. Because by the way, there's a great answer to my question earlier. What do you do when you can't ban out all the star players of JDG? Have all flexes all over the draft so they don't even know where it's going themselves and they can't build their comp the way they want? Then also, this is the team where if you wanted to have a team that could dive and do picks early and focus on objectives, there's T1. But then JDG has the amazing team fighting. This is a fucking awesome matchup. This is a dream for an upper bracket final. And if it doesn't deliver, you've got the lower bracket and the final itself. We can't lose, basically. It's sick. I can't wait, mate.
Yeah, I do hope that T1 wins. And it's not because I care that T1 beats JDG in particular, but I really want to see JDG versus Gen G. And there's, there's a possibility that if T1 gets knocked to the lower bracket, that we see T1 versus Gen G, T1 wins again, and then we see a T1 versus JDG rematch in the final, which again is not terrible, but I think JDG probably matches up better against Gen G than they do against T1. Yes. And so I would just really, really like to see that matchup.
And it'll be Knight versus Chovy, finally. Yes. Also, I'll just throw this out there. Technically, I've realised, I've only got a bloody cat, haven't I? So now all the LCK fans, bloody hell, what have I done? What have I done, mate? Who knows? Fucking hell. Too much of it.
So yeah, I think as for the coming matches.
Oh wait, there's one other thing as well. I got really sad though, because you might have seen this. Right, the LPL fan club account, which actually, by the way, is cool as fuck to follow because it tweets in English all the interesting details about their game. Right, they tweeted, and apparently the person doing it, because I assume they're like a second generation Chinese person or something, they even had to delete the tweet and said sorry. Like basically, I don't always understand Chinese subtlety and stuff. One of the hypest things ever got taken away from us. Originally, there was a tweet before this match now of JDG T1 where the quote was Knight just going, "I find Faker to be weak." And then they'd capitalized weak. And I was like, Giga Chad, holy shit, boys. Because remember, Koreans are supposed to be polite. Well, it would be a great game. I think it will be better. Exactly. The idea that Knight just goes, "I think you're weak, son." But apparently that wasn't it. Apparently he really just said something else that wasn't quite like that. And it was more like, whatever. Oh, mate, if that'd really been a thing that they'd said, I was ready for that powder keg to just blow up and have the absolute war of LPL fans and LCK fans. Oh, I was so ready for it, mate. I can't believe you took that from me. Oh, whatever.
Come on, Knight.
Because I want the villains. I want villains. Exactly. I want villains.
You have until Thursday to talk some smack. Let's get it rolling, guys. It's such a hype matchup.
See, the sad thing is, because this isn't fucking CSGO, the good thing, if you don't know, guys, is because they won't talk shit in CSGO. This is not a joke if you don't follow CSGO. I talk shit to the players and I get in the drama battles with them to give tension to the matches. I can't do that in League. Like, I can't fucking tweet Knight, he's on Weibo or whatever, and I can't get a message to these guys, so they have to do it for us, I'm afraid. You have to give us some of that banter. By the way, the real problem there is this, I've realised. You can never actually accomplish what you do in LCK, because if you actually did tell the players the same thing, like, we obviously respectfully, guys, but we're going to do a trash talk segment. The problem is, to tie into the earlier point, because it's a nationality thing, the fans would go mad no matter what. So you can't really do unfortunately, you can't really bait it out of them. At this point in time, you almost hope they don't say that, because the backlash if they lost would be so insane.
We'll have to wait for the Asian games later this year. That's potentially when that will start showing up a little bit more. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, the reason why Worlds is late this year is because, again, Riot has done scheduling shenanigans around the Asian games that were, they screwed up their entire schedule for the Korean League, LCK, last year, and did ridiculous things because the Asian games were supposed to happen. And then, of course, they were canceled due to the COVID issues in China and the lockdowns that were happening. And so they did it all for nothing, including actually causing certain teams to lose games within the LCK because they refused to reschedule them when some of the teams got COVID, and that pissed off a lot of the teams within the LCK and was completely ridiculous, because the core competition should be at all times the leagues. Okay. Remember how the NHL didn't send players to the Olympics because of COVID cancellations?
Yeah.
And so they had to play some of their games during the Olympics time. They're like, well, too bad, no Olympics this year, guys. And for all you Korean fans, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, these are important because the players get military exemption. No, they're not. The core product is still the most important thing. Suck it up. Also, it seems like some of the players have gotten military exemptions anyway, turns out. Seems weird that, Deft went from I have to go to the military to suddenly, maybe I can play on D+ Kia this year.
The joke is you actually might be better just winning 2 worlds or something. That might get you the exemption better than winning Asian games, you know.
Exactly. So there seems to be some weird stuff going on with players having to go to the military anyway, so we can question really how necessary it is. But I think it's absurd that we have to start Worlds so much later this year just because the Asian games are taking place. Maybe if they're not canceled again, otherwise we look really stupid, but probably won't be canceled this time around. That's a throwback to all the ridiculousness that happened last year when the entire world had to just bend over backwards for an Asian games that were being canceled. Totally absurd.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.